Hi there, in this video we're going to have a quick look at basic audio editing and then some session organisation. So previously we recorded this synth part. Which is fine, but the first chord you can hear is slightly out of time. So I'm just going to show you how you can start cutting up and editing audio. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit by holding Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and scrolling. And as you can see there, the waveform starts slightly after beat 1. So what I'm going to do is just cut this up and move it back slightly. To do so, I'm going to access the slice tool by using the shortcut C. And as I have the global snap on, I'm just going to hold Alt on my keyboard to then make the cut. It's important to do this after the end of the waveform here. So around here should be fine. I'm just going to hold Alt now and click and drag down on this audio file. You can see there, it's cut it and it's now two separate files. Now I'm just going to go back to the Draw tool by pressing P and hover over the left-hand side of the audio file until I see this arrow icon appear. Now I'm going to hold Alt to disable the snap again and just move this to the right. As you can see there, I'm getting rid of the silence before the waveform starts. I'm just going to zoom in a bit more by using the shortcut Command and Scroll or Control and Scroll. Right, I can see it in a bit more detail now. So again, I'm going to hold Alt and move that back close to the waveform. And now, if I hover the mouse using the Draw tool over this audio file, this icon appears. So I can just click on the audio file and drag it over to the start of the song. Again, I'm going to hold Alt to pause snap. Now if I play it back, it's in time. I'm just going to zoom out again. This second chord is also a tiny bit out, so I'm going to get the slice tool again by using C, holding Alt to cut after the waveform. Then press P to access Draw tool. Zoom in a little bit more. And now, when this icon appears, I'm just going to shuffle this over slightly, again holding Alt, so it starts at the beginning of bar 3. Okay, great. That's in time now. So what I need to do is consolidate these again into a new audio file. It just helps keep the session organised. Now one thing I'd like to do is make this an 8-bar loop. So if I selected each of these individual audio files and then went up to Tools, Consolidate Playlist Selection, and then chose From Selection Start, it would only be about 8.5 bars long. As we can see there, it's a new audio file, but it doesn't go all the way to bar 9. That's not really what I want. So I'm going to press Undo and press OK. And now this time I'm going to create a cycle region at the top here. I've left Snap on, so it's the exact length. Now, to deselect everything I have selected, I'm just going to hold Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and click in an empty part of the playlist window. And now I'm just going to hold Command and click and drag over the files that I'd like to consolidate. Now when I do this, it's going to consolidate it at the length of the cycle. So I'm going to go up to the top here, go to Tools, Consolidate Playlist Selection, and then go from Selection Start. I'm going to leave everything at default settings here and press Start. Now, as we can see, we have the audio file, the correct length here. The previous one has been muted. Okay, so that's really handy now, because if I were to duplicate this or paste it elsewhere, it's going to be the correct length. One thing I'm going to do now quickly is rename some of these files, because as you can see here, we've got a number of files starting with Untitled 11, and it can get quite confusing. I'm going to click on the file that I'd like to rename. We can see this selected because it's highlighted green in the pattern picker. Now I'm just going to right click and go down to rename. I'm going to call this external synth final. So now we can see it's changed name here. It's changed name on the audio file. And also in the channel rack, it has renamed it here. So it's just much easier to keep your session organized. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, because I know I'm happy with the synth and I won't need to go back and use these previous takes again, I'm just going to delete them because at the moment you can see it's taking up a lot of space in the pattern picker. And also in the channel rack, it's taking up loads of space and it can be a bit confusing. Right now, the channel rack is on audio. So if we click on this drop down box here, we can change this to all. So now we see all of our parts. And as you can see, we've got loads here now, and about a third of them are these unused audio files. So the ones which I know I'm definitely not going to need again, I'm going to delete. So I'm just going to right click and go down to delete. You can't undo this, so make sure if you're deleting parts, you're 100% sure you don't need them. Now you can delete multiple files by holding Shift and selecting them all. See how these are all highlighted green now? So I'm going to right click again, and this time I'm just going to press D, because you can see the letter D is underlined under delete, and it's just a shortcut to speed things up. This shortcut will only work when this dialog box is open. Now I've just got these last two files, so I'm just going to do the same. Hold Shift and select them both, right click, and then go down to delete. Okay, now our session is just quite a bit more organised. See, under the All section, we've only got that audio file there, and also the audio part we recorded in before, which is a shaker. Now, as you can see, we have this folder here with nothing in it, so we just don't need it anymore. So I'm going to open the folder, make sure there's no other parts in the playlist, then right click here and go down to delete. This time the shortcut for delete is E. We can see that because the E is underlined. So right click and E, and then press enter to press OK. Okay, great. So in this lecture, we showed you how you can edit your audio files and also how you can start organizing your session. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.